Shalom, Israel, giving honor and praise to the Most High God for giving us the opportunity to gather ourselves together, O nation not desired. So this is what I'm going to call a state of the nation for the Israelites, for us blacks, Latinos, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Now, I want to address something really quick. Number one, this is not a Bible study, and this is not an Israel wake-up call episode. There is a term that is going around the media right now that just bothers me to no end. And it's called Black Hebrew Israelite. And that is the label of a hate group that, number one, Donald Trump came out and talked about. And now it's starting to filter its way through the media and peg Israelites as a hate group. And this is the most disrespectful thing, and you're going to find out why. Number one, we're not a hate group. Never have been, never will be. But I'm going to tell you there are some Israelites that are responsible or partly responsible for that term coming out, and we're going to get to that. But first I want to deal with this. The Bible never said anything about a black Hebrew Israelite in the scriptures. We are Israelites. We are a seed of people that have an origin that goes all the way back to Adam. The line from Adam to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We are the descendants of the branch of Jacob. So we are an actual people, a nation of people. And for them to call us just this little group, that's so disrespectful. Here are these Israelites and their little group with their little Bibles, and they're spewing their hatred all over the world. No, absolutely not. So that is disrespectful to our people, and I'm tired of it. But not only that, but you come and you tell us that we are a hate group. So let's examine what real, true Israelites, the ones who actually follow the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God, and what are our characteristics. Now, our characteristics are, number one, for the men of Israel to be God-fearing men. And what does that mean? It means to keep the commandments. Do what the Most High tells us to do. And that also goes for our women. It goes for our children. So what are some of these things that the Bible tells us to do, that the Most High tells us to do? Men, obey the laws. Women, obey the laws. Husbands, treat your wives better than you treat yourselves. Women, be submissive to your husbands. It doesn't mean that your husband dominates over you, but your husband, not jump off, not boyfriend, husband. Your husband is the leader of your household. And it doesn't mean that he is a dictator. But the Most High God made a hierarchy. God, Christ, man, woman. That is the hierarchy. And there is absolutely no disrespect in that. That's just the way it is. Now you have to remember, husband and wife, they're a unit, they're one. But we all have our positions. And in this case, the man is here, the woman is here. But guess what? The man can't do what he's supposed to do here if the woman doesn't do what she does here. Okay? So let's get rid of the hatred between men and women, because the Bible says this, because there doesn't need to be any hatred at all. And let me expound on that. Now, for every one of you that have a job, right? The whole job works as one, correct? But in that job, there are different people with different positions. And we all play our position, right? For everything to work out as a whole. So a lot of you follow that concept every day because we all have managers, supervisors, bosses, whatever you want to call them. But when it comes to your household, there's a problem. You see that? We'll do whatever these other nations tell us to do, but when it comes to the Most High having his hierarchy, there's a problem. And it causes friction in our own households. So let's just follow what the Bible says. But to get back to my point, it teaches husbands to love their wives, wives to love their husbands, and how to teach their children. So do you know what that causes? That causes order. And for them to call us a hate group means that they don't want us to have order. They don't want two-parent households. They do not want our children following the laws. Why? Because they can't blame us for anything, and they cannot put our young men and women in jail to keep their business going, because the prison system is a business. So when we start keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God, they're going to go out of business. And I want y'all to understand that. But here's the thing, though. The biggest form of hypocrisy is for America to call anybody a hate group. Now, when it goes to the other nations, they can deal with whatever they want to do. But when it comes to us, when it comes to blacks, Latinos, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we have suffered and endured the worst hatred on this planet, bar none. From slavery to police brutality to the workforce. And America, these Edomites, they have museums, monuments, their currency, their flags that all represent the hate that they've had in this country. Just the 4th of July alone, the biggest form of hatred against the Israelites, because that holiday represents their freedom, but you were in chains during that time, and they celebrated right in front of your face. They put slave owners on their currency so that you never forget that you was a slave. I'm telling you. And they have the audacity, the gall, to call us a hate group. The sheer hypocrisy of it all. But there is one individual that is the biggest representative of hate in this country and across this entire land. That is the face of hatred. That is the face of racism. Why? Because Revelation 1:14 clearly says that Jesus Christ is a black man. It said the man was so dark that it looked like he burned in a furnace. And he had white hair and he had a white beard. And he died a black man's death. How? He was hung on a tree. The Bible says he was hung on a tree, just like his ancestors, which was us, the Israelites. Hung from trees. This is all in the Bible. This is all verifiable. But yet they will take this Edomite Caucasian man and say, this is Jesus, when the Bible clearly says that it's not. But you also have to remember that the Bible says that they are going to come preaching another Jesus, and that's him. And for those of you who don't know who that is, that man's name is Caesar Borgia. He is the depiction of the Christian Christ. I don't even want to call him that. But that's what it is. That's the face of racism right there for you. And I have a big problem with this nation calling us racist, which we're not, and calling us a hate group, which we're not. They give us these titles all because we want to better ourselves, all because we want our men to actually stand up and be men. All because we want our women to look at themselves in the mirror and see that they're not whores and they're not bitches, but they're actually queens and princesses. For our youth to know that they are princes and princesses. And for our men to know that we are kings according to the scriptures. So that we can start promoting self-love. Most importantly, love for the Most High. And we can actually start building our nation back to where we belong. That's hatred. To tell my sister not to dress scantily clad, that's hatred. To tell my brother pull up his pants, stop sagging, that's hatred. To promote my brother to go out and get a job and provide for his family, that's hatred. To tell one of my brothers, marry that woman, that's hatred. That's what the Bible tells us to do. And yet they have a problem with that. And do you know why? Because once we start doing that, there are consequences for them. And that's why they do that. And quite frankly, like I said, I'm sick and tired of it. It is the biggest form of hypocrisy on this planet. Don't call us a hate group, because we're not. And the fact of the matter is, once Christ and the angels come back, when the Most High is ready to bring his wrath, his reign of destruction on this planet, there's only one group of people that are being saved according to the scriptures. And that is the 1/3 obedient Israelites that actually followed the laws, statutes, and commandments. The 2/3 rebellious Israelites and all the other nations are coming to destruction. And that's according to the scriptures. And that's the part that they actually hate. So let's get back to the black Messiah. Let's get back to Christ, who the Bible actually says is Jesus Christ. Now, a lot of you don't have any idea what the story of the crucifixion was. Now, the story of the crucifixion was Christ beaten for you. Now, I know you've heard the Bible verse where it says, remember, if they hate you, they hated me first. A lot of you have no idea the meaning behind that. Christ endured the worst beating, the worst murder that this planet has ever seen. They beat that man down to his bones. They beat the man so bad that his flesh separated to the point where you was able to see his bone. They did that all over his body. They beat him in the head. They ripped out his beard. And while all his flesh and everything was opened, they were spitting alcohol on him. And he endured all of that. But none of us ever really knew why. None of us ever really knew what he meant when he said, remember, they hated me first. He took that horrible punishment because he already knew what was coming for the Israelites, what was going to happen with us, the slavery, police brutality, and all the other horrible injustices done to our people. And he said, I'm going to take on all this pain because I know what you're going to go through. But guess what? I did it first. It happened to me first. That's how much I love y'all. So I cannot be up there sitting at the right hand of the Father and being like, oh, they just going through something. He said, no, I bear the pain first. So y'all are going to have to go through it. You're going to go through it. But just remember, it happened to me first. I can speak on this. They hung me from a tree and they're going to hang a lot of you from trees too. Physically and mentally. And they want to call us a hate group. With all their Confederate flags and Washington monuments and all these things, and they want to call us a hate group. Ridiculous. But I'm going to tell you something. For those of you who are out there, you Israelites that still have a problem with accepting the fact that the Hispanics and Native Americans are our people, let's deal with the Hispanics here for a second. Did it ever occur to any of you that doubted this why they will not let them here in America? When the Most High gave an instruction, gather yourselves together, O nation not desired. Now, as you know, all these other nations, they let them come right in. They invite them in. Whether it be the Africans, whether it be the Chinese, whoever it is, the Arabs. What do they do with them when they come in? Absolutely, yes, everyone is welcome. Yes, please come in. As a matter of fact, here's some money and here's some vehicles. They give them loans and vehicles when they come here. All of you, yes, please come in. Oh, yes, this is the melting pot. This is America and everybody's welcome. But when it comes to the Hispanics, what are y'all doing? Get back over the wall. Get back over there. Why do they do that? Because it just so happens that when they come over here and they actually get the truth, gather yourselves together, O nation not desired. That's going to cause something in the heavens when that happens. And it doesn't matter if they're coming from Mexico, Cuba, Guatemala, it doesn't matter. They push them back. So y'all have to stop thinking like that. You really need to humble yourselves, close your mouths, and read the Bible, which is your history book. Because the time is coming. And all of you that are out there that's going against that, you're going to regret that. But now, I want to address our brothers. Do you understand that you are a part of the problem as to why they're calling us a hate group? And I don't mean all of our brothers. I'm speaking directly to a lot of the Israelite camps. Not all of the Israelite camps. Let me make that clear. I'm not speaking to all Israelite camps. I'm speaking to the ones who are guilty of doing this. Now, you have a lot of our brothers who teach on the streets, but a lot of them are not addressing our people. They're addressing the other nations as they walk by, and they're actually teaching the other nations. And a lot of these brothers will yell and scream belligerently as Edomites, who today are the Caucasians, and mainly them. And they'll yell and scream at them and tell them that they're going to their eternal destruction and all that stuff or whatever. And it is so unnecessary. Why? Because every time that you do that, you're missing the opportunity to teach your own people. Now, our prophets, Christ himself, only taught our people. As in Matthew 15:24, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Those are the only people I came here for. Those are the only people that I address. And guess what? Y'all are not doing that. Yeah, do you know who y'all mainly yell and scream at? Attractive white women. As they walk by. Oh yeah, yo, you're going to make a good slave of my concubine and all that. And it's like, dude, man, what is wrong with you? Did you not see the family of Israelites that just went by because you're trying to fulfill your lust over here with this woman, with these Edomites? And that's the problem. Because we are directing, well, excuse me, not we, you are directing your lust on these people and missing the opportunity to teach your own. And then when they offend you, then you want to yell and scream. You go into slavery and all that stuff. Yes, the Bible says all that. But guess what? They already know their fate. They don't need to be taught their fate. They already know. If you don't think for 1 second that their ancestors taught them about this book, you're crazy. But every time you do that, you're passing our people by. And guess what? You're going to pay for that. So, you brothers, stop doing that. Because you're making the ones who are actually trying to keep this word, you're making us look bad. And you are. So, stick to what needs to be done. Stick to the mission. Teach your people. We are the ones that need the medicine. Teach your people. Leave the other nations alone. They don't care about you. So why care about them? That makes sense, doesn't it? So, Israel, we have a lot of work to do. But we are not going to let anyone bring a spirit of fear on us, because for one, the Most High's people do not operate in a spirit of fear. Remember, we just went over David and Goliath. That is the spirit that needs to be injected back into our people. That needs to happen. So it doesn't matter if they call us a hate group. It doesn't matter if they're calling us racist, because number one, we know neither one of those are true. But we cannot be ashamed of who we are. Our people need to get out in our fringes and start showing our heritage. Our people need to start showing the solidarity that really belongs to us. Gather yourselves together, O nation not desired. And y'all know that I say that a lot. I think I say it in every one of my messages. That is what we have to do. That is what's going to cause the sky to crack. And a lot of us think we're saved, and we're not. We're not saved yet. We're saved when we're in chariots going back to Jerusalem. That's when we're saved. And I'm not advocating for any person to go out there and be yelling and screaming at the other nations and telling them what their fate and destruction is. It's pointless. Absolutely pointless. I teach you what the scriptures say. And indeed, you need to teach our people what the teachers say, even if you're not out on the street. We have to educate each other with the book that was given to us, and it is called the Holy Bible. And you cannot be afraid of what anyone says about it. The Most High God chose you, Israel, and that's all that matters. And the only thing that we have to do is keep the commandments. That's it. Because as you see, they are getting ridiculous with us. Seriously, to the point to where you shoot a woman, an Israelite princess, a queen, through her window. A person who is supposed to be a sworn officer of the law. So, Israel, like I said, we have work to do. So let's start doing what we're supposed to do so we can get up out of this hellhole. I'm ready to see the kingdom. I don't know about you. I want to see the kingdom. I want to see New Jerusalem come out the sky and come down to this earth. And I want to see my people there. As the scriptures say. You can call it racism all you want to. I don't care. But the one thing you won't call me is a liar. And you will not call my God a liar either. So that's what it is, Israel. So I'm so glad that you listened to me ramble for this amount of time, but this is a state of the nation. And I encourage you guys to please share these messages with our people so that we can actually begin to start to rise up to our greatness. And don't you ever be ashamed of that either. Don't ever be ashamed to call yourself an Israelite, not a black Hebrew Israelite, not a black Israelite, not a Hebrew Israelite, an Israelite. The proper name that the Most High gave you. Okay? All right. Israel, I love y'all. I'm out.